Hello my friends, I hope all you are fine. This is the Nerat Stories channel. Let's start this story. In the serene suburban enclave of Elmwood, the sunsets painted the skies with hues of orange and purple, casting long shadows over neat lawns and quiet streets. It was in this tranquil setting that my life, once a picture of contentment, began to unravel. My wife Sarah and I had built what seemed like a perfect life, a cozy home, 2 beautiful children, and a love story that spanned a decade. However, beneath the surface of our idyllic existence, subtle cracks began to form. It started innocently enough, a text message from an unknown number that Sarah quickly dismissed as a wrong number. Yet that small incident planted a seed of doubt in my mind. Over time, I noticed Sarah's unexplained absences and the cold, distant look in her eyes, a stark contrast to her once warm and loving demeanor. My heart whispered that something was amiss, but I pushed the thoughts away, clinging to the belief that our marriage was built on unshakable trust and love. Little did I know, my world was about to be turned upside down as I embarked on a journey to uncover the devastating truth. As weeks turned into months, the subtle signs of Sarah's infidelity grew more apparent, casting long shadows over our once happy home. She started working late more often, her excuses growing increasingly implausible. Business trips appeared on her schedule with alarming frequency, and she became evasive when I asked for details. Our conversations dwindled to monosyllabic exchanges, and the affectionate gestures we once shared vanished. I found myself lying awake at night, plagued by a gnawing sense of unease. The turning point came when I discovered an unfamiliar name, David, appearing repeatedly in her phone records. My heart pounded as I pieced together the clues, each one adding weight to my growing suspicions. Determined to confront Sarah, I broached the topic one evening, hoping for reassurance. But instead of soothing my fears, Sarah grew defensive, attributing her behavior to work stress and accusing me of paranoia. Her dismissive attitude only fueled my doubts, and I realized that if I wanted to uncover the truth, I would have to take matters into my own hands. The trust that had once been the bedrock of our relationship was crumbling, leaving me lost and desperate for answers. Desperate to uncover the truth, and armed with a grim determination, I decided to hire a private investigator named Mark. With his reputation for discretion and thoroughness, Mark was my last hope in untangling the web of lies that had ensnared my marriage. We met in a dimly lit office, where I handed over the evidence I had painstakingly gathered: the suspicious text messages, phone records, and details of Sarah's absences. Mark listened intently, his expression a blend of empathy and professionalism. He assured me that he would leave no stone unturned in his quest for the truth. Over the next few weeks, Mark began his investigation, following Sarah's every move and meticulously documenting her interactions. Each update he provided felt like a punch to the gut, revealing a side of Sarah I had never known. He discovered that she was meeting a man named David, an old college flame, in secret locations far from our home. Their meetings were frequent and intimate, shattering the illusion of the life we had built together. As Mark pieced together Sarah's double life, I grappled with a maelstrom of emotions: betrayal, anger, and a deep, aching sorrow. The woman I thought I knew had become a stranger, and the foundation of our marriage was crumbling beneath the weight of her deceit. Armed with irrefutable evidence and a heart heavy with betrayal, I knew it was time to confront Sarah. One evening, after the children were asleep, I asked her to sit down. The tension in the room was palpable as I laid out the evidence before her: the text messages, phone records, and photographs that Mark had gathered. Sarah's face went pale, her eyes widening in shock. For a moment, there was a silence so profound, it seemed to swallow us whole. Then, with tears streaming down her face, Sarah confessed. She admitted to the affair with David, explaining that their reconnection had stirred up old feelings she thought were long buried. She spoke of her dissatisfaction with our marriage, of feeling unappreciated and neglected. Her words were like daggers, each one cutting deeper into my heart. As she poured out her emotions, I felt a whirlwind of conflicting feelings. anger at her betrayal, sorrow for the love we had lost, and a painful recognition of my own shortcomings. The confrontation was raw and brutal, laying bare the fractures in our relationship. In that moment, I realized that the road to healing would be long and fraught with challenges, but it was a journey we had to undertake, whether together or apart. The days following Sarah's confession, we agreed to separate temporarily, giving each other the space to process what had happened. I moved into a small apartment nearby, a stark contrast to the home we had shared. The loneliness was overwhelming, but it gave me the solitude I needed to reflect on our relationship and my own role in its disintegration. Both Sarah and I sought therapy, confronting our issues and the underlying problems that had driven us apart. My sessions were a painful but necessary journey into self-discovery, revealing patterns of neglect and complacency that I had never acknowledged. Sarah, too, delved into her struggles, recognizing her feelings of unappreciation and the emotional void that had led her to seek solace in David. Slowly, we began to communicate again, our conversations tentative but sincere. We discussed our feelings, our fears, and the possibility of rebuilding our marriage. It was clear that the road ahead would be challenging, but for the first time in months, there was a glimmer of hope. We were both committed to healing, whether that meant finding our way back to each other or moving forward separately. As we continued to navigate the aftermath of Sarah's betrayal, more revelations came to light, shedding new perspectives on our relationship. Mark's investigation had uncovered additional layers to Sarah's secret life, including her feelings of isolation and inadequacy. These insights were painful to hear, but crucial in understanding the full extent of her infidelity. In therapy, I faced the uncomfortable truth about my shortcomings, how my workaholic tendencies and emotional distance had contributed to Sarah's sense of neglect. It was a humbling realization, forcing me to confront aspects of myself that I had long ignored. Sarah, too, was uncovering her own buried emotions, recognizing how her unmet needs had driven her to seek validation outside our marriage. We reached a pivotal decision point, whether to rebuild our marriage from the ground up or to part ways amicably. After many heartfelt discussions and soul-searching, we decided to give our relationship another chance. It wouldn't be easy, but we were both willing to put in the effort to create a healthier, more honest partnership. The decision was a leap of faith, but it was one we were ready to take, armed with the lessons we had learned. The process of rebuilding trust was slow and arduous, marked by setbacks and small victories. Sarah and I committed to being open and honest, sharing our feelings and fears without judgment. We attended couples therapy, learning new ways to communicate and support each other. There were moments of intense pain when old wounds were reopened, but there were also moments of profound connection that reminded us of why we had fallen in love in the first place. We faced various challenges, rebuilding intimacy, navigating lingering doubts, and balancing the demands of our family. But through it all, we made progress, slowly but surely. We celebrated each small step forward, recognizing that healing was a journey, not a destination. Our new relationship dynamics were built on mutual respect and a deep understanding of each other's flaws and strengths. We were no longer the same people we had been before the betrayal, but we were stronger and more resilient. The love we had rediscovered was real and raw, forged in the crucible of our shared pain and growth. It was a testament to the power of forgiveness and the possibility of redemption. Reflecting on the journey of unveiling Sarah's betrayal, I am struck by the unexpected twists and turns that led us to where we are today. The experience was the most painful chapter of my life, but it was also a catalyst for profound change and growth. Sarah and I emerged from the wreckage of our marriage as different people, having faced our demons and found a way to rebuild our lives. We chose to reconcile, not out of obligation, but out of a genuine desire to create a healthier, more fulfilling relationship. Our love was no longer built on illusion, but on a deep understanding of each other's flaws and strengths. It is not a perfect happily ever after, but a new beginning marked by resilience and hope. We have learned that even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of light. This journey has taught us the importance of self-reflection, the power of forgiveness, and the possibility of redemption. Unveiling the Betrayal. My Wife's Secret Life is a story of heartbreak and hope, of loss and new beginnings. It is a reminder that the human spirit is capable of enduring and overcoming even the most unimaginable betrayals. Thank you for being a part of Narrative Stories. Your support and engagement mean the world to us. We are committed to bringing you the best in storytelling. What kinds of stories would you like to see next? Share your thoughts in the comments below.